In today's video, I'm reviewing a 2006 Audi A4 Quattro. Now, among cars, the Audi A4 is kind of my first true love. When I was in college, I bought a 2003 A4 that I owned for 3 years and got up to 165,000 miles. And it really kind of began my obsession with Audi vehicles. And from there, I went on to own many others. I replaced it with a 2009 A4, and I've also had a 2006 and 2008 A4. In addition to that, I've had a number of Volkswagens and a 2013 Audi Q5. Now, while Audi has made a lot of refinements on the A4 since the introduction of this second generation of the A4, I feel like this vehicle is really kind of the tipping point for Audi when they went from kind of being this obscure automaker that had a presence on the market but wasn't really that popular to becoming really one of the premium mainstream luxury brands. And that's because it really is an excellent car. From a styling standpoint, the second generation A4 really kind of set a tone that was carried throughout the Audi lineup, and in some ways kind of set the tone that's continued into vehicles that they're producing even today. And while Audi has made really great progressions in terms of design, materials, performance since this A4 was introduced, the DNA of this vehicle is really what kind of set Audi on the track of becoming a really premier luxury brand. I've always been a big fan of the proportions of this generation of the A4. I think it's actually kind of a shame how much the A4 has grown with the introduction of each consecutive generation. And actually, it's funny because now if you look at the new A3s, they're very similar in size to this generation of the A4. And in a lot of ways, I think that they're almost a better car because of that. They offer really great handling characteristics because they're not so long and not so wide. They just feel like they're a lot more manageable and yet still provide adequate space inside. Now for 2006, Audi introduced their new 2-liter turbo engine. Previously they had a 1.8 turbo and a 3-liter V6. With the 2006 model, they added that new 2-liter turbo and a 3.2-liter V6. The 2-liter turbo has become one of the most popular engines in the Audi lineup since its introduction in this vehicle, and really is probably the most popular engine even today among most of the lineup. Obviously, they've continued to progress on the design of that engine, but it offers a really nice combination of performance and fuel economy. This A4 is fitted with the Audi Quattro all-wheel drive system, which is one of the most advanced all-wheel drive systems on the market, and these cars are plenty capable in any snow and ice that you can throw at them. You can see the Quattro emblem here. All of the Audi products have that Quattro emblem on the front, and then, on the rear, and then on the front grille here, and then on the front dashboard. And so if you're in the market for an Audi and you're trying to decide whether it's got the all-wheel drive system or not, you can tell in any of those 3 locations. Now, when I graduated from college, my dad actually flew out. I was living in Pittsburgh at the time, going to school at Carnegie Mellon. And my dad flew out and we drove my 2003 A4 across the country through a crazy snow and ice storm, driving on interstates, passing trucks, some of the worst weather that you could throw at it. I was a poor college student. I didn't have very good tires on the vehicle, so they were pretty bald, all-season tires, and the car performed flawlessly. When we got to Oregon, there was one section on a downhill where I remember either a truck merging in front of us or something. I had to slam on the brakes and it slid a little bit, but beyond that, driving across the whole country through this snowstorm, the car was incredibly good on snow and ice. And my theory, I share it in a lot of my videos, is that sports sedans really have the best handling in snow and ice conditions when they've got all-wheel drive, because these vehicles handle incredibly well on dry conditions. And so as long as the road is plowed and clearance isn't an issue, if you've got all-wheel drive and you're in a vehicle that's got really good weight distribution and really good handling on dry pavement, it's going to handle really good in that snow and ice as well. Now, while this vehicle is approaching 13 years of age already, you'll see that the interior is still in really good condition. And that's one of the things that I really like about Audi as a brand, is that while they get hit a little bit on their reputation for reliability and maintenance when it comes to mechanics, they use really good, high quality materials. And so in a lot of ways, they're vehicles that are worth maintaining. yeah, this car is getting up there in age and it's probably going to have some maintenance issues. You know, if you're buying it as a used vehicle that's, you know, 12 or 13 years old, that's going to be expected. But at the same time, on the interior, it's still, you know, in a lot of ways looks like a brand new vehicle. Everything's held up really well over the course of its life. A lot of these versions of the Audi come with a Bose sound system. This one has just the factory system, which actually has really good sound characteristics as well for a stock vehicle. Sound systems in Audis are one of my favorite things about them. You can see we've got heated seats on both sides. Those are pretty common across the lineup. Dual climate control. Got a cassette player, given this is a 2006 model. CD as well. Controls for the volume on the steering wheel, and then you can change channels over on this side. This is, well, I was going to say this is an S-Line model, but it might actually not be. It does have the 3-spoke S-Line style steering wheel. Audi's really come to be kind of the standard in terms of high quality interiors, and you can see that this vehicle sort of began that trend for Audi. It's got a really nice, high quality, attractive interior, lots of really stylish materials. And it's funny, while a new Audi is going to look a lot more modern, a lot of the same kind of themes that you see in this vehicle are still going to be present in a brand new Audi. Now, I complain that Audi has expanded the size of the A4 during its lifetime with each generation. But part of the reason that they did that is that the back seat is a little tight, and you'll see that in an A3 as well. This isn't going to be the best family car if you're going to have taller passengers sitting in the back, but at the same time, you can fit. It's not bad, it's just not the most comfortable. So it's a little bit tight on legroom. Headroom, a little bit tight as well. Got the center armrest here that folds down. And we'll see if it's got the, there it is, Audi's famous first aid kit. Audi is not including those on every new vehicle these days, but back in the day, that was a common thing. Any Audi had that first aid kit sitting in that armrest. Now it's an additional option, I think. They charge you extra if you want that. I was also going to say they've got a little reflector here, at least my 2003 had it, that fits in this little slot, so that if you get you know, a flat tire or something you need to set up on the side of the road, it has a little reflector built into the trunk there. It's kind of cool. The other cool thing is newer Audis don't have this, a full-size spare. Newer Audis, they give you a little like blow-up tire that's not inflated and a pump that you've got to fill. Hope I never have to use mine if I end up getting a flat tire or something. Those back seats do fold down flat, so you can get some larger objects in. But yeah, overall, I think this is a great looking car even today. Yes, it's getting up there in age, but I think it's got a timeless design. I anticipate that 30, 40 years from now, I'm gonna be driving my daughter around and I'm gonna see an old A4 second generation model. And I'm gonna get super excited, point out to her and be like, Emma, that was the car that started me on this path of Audi love. And she's gonna roll her eyes. And I'll wish that I would have bought one of these and kept it in meticulous condition in the garage. Probably be a collector item someday, right? But whatever the case, this is a car that I love. With that said, let's take it for a drive and take a little trip down memory lane. One of the things I really appreciated about my 2003 Audi A4 was the switchblade key. A little bit of a novelty, but it was a lot of fun at the time. Getting into the A4 really kind of takes me down memory lane. I feel like I'm being reunited with an old friend. The proportions of the vehicle, the feel of the steering, the sound of the engine really just takes me back to the days of owning a second generation A4. Obviously, I like this car a lot, having owned 3 models within the second generation. I bought a 2009 A4 after my 03, and while I really liked it, I felt like the size and proportions of the vehicle kind of took away from the driving experience, and that's why I went back to the A4 again when I bought my 2006 and 2008. The A4 just has a really nice overall feel to it. In terms of the width, the length, the height, it just feels like it's very natural to drive, really easy to drive, and has a really nice level of refinement. Again, it's kind of funny me comparing it to some of the newer Audis that are out there now, because those have really continued to develop in terms of luxury and refinement. And so getting into this, it does feel a little bit like an older car, but at the same time, for a vehicle that's really getting up there in age, you know, getting close to 13 years, it's amazing how well it still performs and how nice it feels on the interior. Newer versions of the A4 have electric steering, but in the second generation models, they still had hydraulic steering, which offers a really nice feel. The electric steering has a little bit of a vague, kind of loose feel to it, while with the hydraulic steering, you feel very connected with the road. From a power standpoint, the 2-liter turbo offers a really nice combination of performance and fuel economy. When the turbo is engaged, it's got some really good acceleration, which is nice for accelerating onto the highway or passing vehicles. But the great thing is that as long as that turbo is not engaged, you're getting really good gas mileage. And so it offers a really good combination of having the power there when you need it and you know, having it kind of on hold when it's not needed. Having not driven the second generation A4 in many years, it's amazing how natural it feels getting into this vehicle again. Something about the size and the proportions just feels like it's perfect. As far as all the controls being right within reach, the armrest at a really nice position, steering wheel likewise being in a good position. The size of the seats feel like they're just tight enough that you've got plenty of space, but also small enough that you kind of feel like you're just being hugged by the vehicle. And so really, it feels good to get back into the second generation A4. So that's the 2006 Audi A4. If it wasn't clear in the video, I am a huge fan of these vehicles. Like I said, this is really the vehicle that set me on my path of Audi obsession. I would highly recommend one of these vehicles to anybody that is in the market for one, whether you're looking at the second generation or you're looking at a newer model. I think the Audi A4 is one of the nicest vehicles out there. With that said, if you have any comments or questions, leave those in the section below. For more car reviews, subscribe to my channel, and in the meantime, thanks for watching.